there are going to be things in life that are going to drain you, and then there are going to be things that are going to energize you. It's really important, I believe, that you are aware of what those things are. Be very aware of what are the things in your life that are draining you, that are sucking your energy, that are making you feel down, depleted, um, the things that are filling you with thoughts and beliefs of self-doubt, the things that make you doubt yourself, um, the things that create this mental conflict, the things that make you feel just miserable, depressed, maybe anxious. It's like the suck of your power, this drain of your energy, this distraction of your attention. Okay, all these things are pretty much all on one side of the spectrum, and it's, I believe, very important. I practice this religiously, like just as a way of life, being very aware of what are the things that are causing that in my life. It could be foods that I'm eating. It could be activities that I'm taking part in. It could be a gym that I'm training at that, okay, maybe the activity isn't the issue. Maybe, let's say, if I'm playing soccer or football or tennis, and I feel not so good after that. It might not be that it's the activity of playing tennis, but it could be where I'm playing tennis, the people that I'm playing tennis with. It could be the gym that I'm at. All that might be necessary is for me to change my gym or my environment. But just being very aware of how the things that you're doing are affecting your life. Is it what are is it the people that could be draining you? It could be foods, it could be music, it could be the clothes that you're wearing, it could be the way that you are grooming yourself, the makeup you're wearing, the nail polish. It can be pretty much anything. So be really aware of every aspect. It could be the books that you're reading, it could be the people that you're interacting with, the people at work. Now, what's important to put your attention on and be aware of is the overall outcome, the end result of whatever it is you're doing. So let's say if I'm eating some food, be aware. I will be aware of the end result, the effect of that food. How did I feel while I was eating it? Was the environment energizing and pleasing to me? How did I feel? Did I feel energized and nourished at the end of the meal, or did I feel bloated and not so good after it? Maybe there's a lot of foods that we eat that's just for your mouth, like for your tongue. It's so delicious up here and up here, but then as soon as it goes in, you just feel not so good afterwards. So the correct way, I believe, of assessing an action or an experience is by the complete, full, cumulative, I guess is the way to describe it, effect of whatever it is you did. Well, what I mean by that is, so it's important to understand that, okay, if I do push-ups right now, that period of 60 seconds of doing push-ups, I'm going to be drained and depleted. It's not going to be a fun experience, right? But when I finish the push-ups, I'm suddenly flooded with all kinds of things. There's chemical reactions, there's endorphins, there's thoughts and beliefs that flood into my head. I start to think positively, I start to think productively, like, oh, I just accomplished something. So there's a flood of things that rush in, and suddenly I start to feel incredible. I start to feel strong. I feel powerful. My self-esteem, my confidence, just my life, like, just improves and feels much more energized, motivated, inspired, and enhanced. My life becomes better as a result of that action of me taking to do some push-ups, right? But the short-term pain and suffering, it's like it's like it's like mathematics. You got to do the whole mathematics of the whole thing. Okay, so yes, I have to put in. I do get drained. It's not a nice experience doing the push-ups. It's unpleasant. It takes willpower. All of those things are kind of like the costs. If anybody out there is into business, if I'm gonna like create a product to sell to people, I'm going to have some costs of like building, creating that product, the time I put into it, the materials that I have to buy to. So I'm going to have like certain costs associated with the product that I'm making, but then I'm going to sell that product at a profit, right? So I'm going to create a profit margin. So if my costs were $5 to create this product, I'm going to sell it maybe for $15. So my profit is like $10. So the overall like experience of this product is a profitable one. It improves my life. So despite there's some costs associated with it, overall it's a profitable venture. It's a successful venture. It's a healthy, good decision to make. It improves my life. It improves everything, right? So in the same way, when we look at, like, let's say I'm going to do some push-ups now, well, there's going to be a cost associated. There's going to be that unpleasant, draining, beginning I'm going to have an expense, but then the returns, right, are going to be, there's going to be some considerable returns too. And then it's going to be up to me to decide, are the returns worth the costs that I'm putting in? And for push-ups, or sports, usually the returns are huge, right? But a lot of us are turned off by the initial cost, investment that we have to make into it. Now it works the other way too. Like, let's say, I'm going to sit there and eat some ice cream, or whatever it is, do some heroin. Okay, like, let's say heroin is a good example. Okay, the initial the initial part of it is going to be so, like, let's say, euphoric and pleasurable and an amazing experience. The same with, let's say, if I'm going to sit down and eat some ice cream, it's that experience of eating the ice cream. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be like so delicious and so pleasing and energizing, motivating, inspiring, all the things that we talk about while I'm eating the ice cream. But then there's going to be, that's not the end of the experience, right? So the experience hasn't completely ended yet. The ice cream experience is like not just the beginning part, but it's like, how do you feel afterwards, right? So for a lot of people, they don't feel so good after eating ice cream, right? Unless I don't want to be too hard on ice cream here. I'm just using this as an example. But if you've like worked hard and you deserve a break, enjoy it. You will feel good after you eat it. You'll be like, I deserve that. But if you're excessively indulging in something like that, like excessively indulging in like unhealthy foods that are delicious and give you that quick satisfaction, but then you know that it's going to make you feel down afterwards. So then that's some mathematics you've got to do there as well. Like, you've got to say, well, is it worth it? Is the high that I'm getting from this, is it worth the down, the low, right? And it's not worth the low. That's why a lot of people, including myself, we've suffered because of those things, and we've come to the realization that, well, I love ice cream, I love sex, I love weed, there's certain things that people might call vices that I love to do, and I want to do them for as long as I live, I want to enjoy ice cream, healthy sex life, smoking weed, whatever it is. I want to do these things until while I'm alive, until the day I leave this earth. So if I want to do that, then it's important for me to like do them in moderation, right? To keep them. I don't want to burn them out. I don't want to overdo them, and then it's going to decay and create misery into my life, right? Because it happens to a lot of people where they overdo it with the food, or they overdo it with the sex, and then they ruin it, or they overdo it with the weed, and then they ruin these things, right? So what I really want to focus on here is like doing this math, this arithmetic, this basic math of, first of all, being aware that an experience that you have, like you have to take into consideration the full experience of what that thing is doing. If I go out and I meet someone and I feel happy and I feel good with that person, but then I leave and I feel terrible, well then there's maybe something going on there that I have to assess. And I think really just a very simple way to always be aware of this is always just look at how you feel at the very end of doing something. The activity itself, it's not really that important. Of course, we want to enjoy that activity, but what's more important is the result of that activity on your life, right? The effect that activity has on your life. Is it improving your life, or is it detrimental to your life? Are you feeling energized, motivated, inspired? Are you healthier at the end of it, at the very end of it, or is it doing the opposite effect? So be very aware of what are the things in your life that are draining you. Like, I never used to be a journaler or a list writer, never. But I wound up doing that and finding just the writing lists and putting things in writing really help tremendously. So for me, like, I'm very aware of like what are all the things that are detrimental to my life, that bring me down, the people, the foods, the music, everything. Like, I keep adding to these lists too, just so that I'm constantly aware, because we tend to forget and we tend to like put our focus on other things. So the simple act of just like writing these things down, even just once, it helps to just like help you remember them, help you to be aware, so that when you do bump into like one of the things on the list that is not a good thing, then you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm going to need to like make this quick, or not spend so much time in this environment, or not have too much of this food, or maybe not interact with these people so much, So, or knowing what are the things in life that energize and motivate and inspire you, make a list of all those things too. Just because life can be hard, and then sometimes when we feel down, it's just great to be able to go to that list, whether it's on your notes or post-it notes, or you're writing them and putting lists in your house. It could be on your wall in your kitchen or your bedroom, wherever. Just having this access to that list and just going in there and saying, okay, well, what can I do from this list today that's going to make me feel better now? Oh, well, I don't want to do that. I'm not in the mood for that. I'm not in the mood for this. But then you might find something on that list of things that make you feel better, inspire you, energize you, or help, improve your mood and your health. You could find something that you are in the mood to do in that moment. Right? So my list, I've got like maybe 40, 50 things on there. And everyone I work with, we create lists. They all have their lists, and they refer to those lists, right? Those lists is basically, knowing who you are, knowing like how different things affect you. Okay? So this is super critical, I believe. A lot of people do this just instinctually, naturally, There's a lot of people that are just great at keeping distance from the things that harm them in life, and they're great at moving towards the things that enrich their lives and make their lives better. So a lot of people do this just naturally, but there's a lot of people that, we need help, and we need to write things down, and we need to understand and better understand who we are. And at the end of the day, just knowing who you are and what kind of a person you are and what makes you tick, what makes you happy, and all of these things, it's not difficult. At the end of the day, just like ask, well, what are the things that are energizing me, that are motivating me, that are inspiring me, that are making me healthier, stronger, right? What are those things? And then write as many, of them down as you can. Is it music? Is it sports? Is it certain people? Is it certain foods? Is it certain movies, certain documentaries, certain things on YouTube? What are all those things? Put them all down. And then on the other side, put all the things that do the opposite, that drain you. I learned a lot in my most difficult moments in life, and I've said this 1,000 times on these videos. You've heard me say it before, that when we are in the worst time of our life, whether you're going through like a terrible breakup or depression, or you're kind of like at the bottom, you kind of like hit rock bottom, hitting rock bottom is a massive blessing in disguise. It's a gift, because first of all, to get there, it's like no one wants to get there, but when you're there, you might as well make the most out of it. And one of the greatest gifts that you will have being in rock bottom, or being in a really dark, lonely, miserable, painful, difficult place, is that you'll be so like low that you just won't be able to take any more lowness. So being in that state, you'll be able to very quickly identify the things that are making you lower, and you'll be able to identify the things that make you feel genuinely better, not just like quick things that make you feel better for a short time, but then you feel like even worse than before. So it's sort of like a video game. You gotta like, you are like the character of the video game, and you have this energy bar, like a lot of video games do, where you can see the energy level of the character. And your job is basically to build that energy, power it up. And there's going to be a whole bunch of things on one side that you can do to build that power up. It could be eating good foods, it can be sports, it can be whatever it is. It can be fun, exciting things. It doesn't have to be things that we're like, oh, sports or eating kale or whatever. No, it can be, find the exciting, creative, fun things that are healthy for you. There's lots of them, plenty of them. And then, again, like I said, be aware of, because when you increase that power bar, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want that power. There's going to be a lot of people out in the world who are going to be attracted to that power. When you increase that power bar and you start, basically like powering yourself up full of motivation and energy, and you're going to start buzzing, you're going to start radiating it. You're just really not going to have much say over the matter. You're just going to be vibrating differently. You're going to be in a different state of resonance, and it's going to attract a lot of people to you. So it's going to attract good people, who are going to come to you, and they're going to respect and share and grow with you and build upon that power that you've cultivated. They'll be inspired, but they're going to be reciprocating, right? But it's also going to attract a lot of people that are going to want to take it from you, right? Drain, and one of the most common ones is beauty, right? The seductive beauty of, it could be If you're a guy, it could be like a super attractive but sadly toxic energy vampire, a girl who's like a woman who's like gorgeous, and she's going to use her beauty to get your attention, and meanwhile she'll be feeding off that energy and power and that you have cultivated and created until, and this is like a common story, it's just sadly too common, until you're depleted and your self-esteem is back low again, and you just feel depressed and you're down, and then that's usually when the energy vampire person, doesn't have to be female, it can be male, will leave, right? Onto to find something more. And then they'll come back when you recharge again, right? It's a very common situation. But it works the other way too. It could be that you're a woman, and then you're going to meet a guy who's just like, maybe he's like he's a bit of a mess, but he's like a hot mess. He's like good looking guy, but he just, living on a couch in his friend's house, or he's a surfer, but he's hot, but he's just a mess. And again, it could just be draining, right? So, like I said, a lot of people instinctually, naturally, just know like how to gravitate towards the things that are good for them, that are going to enhance and improve their life journey and life experience, right? And they know like how to stay away from the things that are a detriment. If you like trace back the origins of our life based on what we know, what we know as a human species, like things started like very simple, like a single cell organism in a pool, like a little, imagine like a little rock pool, and there was like water and some other elements in that pool. Maybe got struck by lightning and something activated in a single cell, organism was created. And the basic functions this single cell organism may have most likely had was just to go towards certain things and to go away from certain things. So moving towards things that would strengthen it, make it, enhance its survival, enhance its experience, right? So that it can reproduce and thrive, or like the ability to move away from some other things. Maybe this single cell organism in this pool, in a rock pool, maybe one day the sun comes out and burns it up and it dies. But then other single cells that were in the same pool were able to like move away and go under shade, and then they survive onto the next generation. And then the ones that thrive under the shade create more complex abilities to do certain things, right? So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because even those basic things that were inherent in a single cell organism just go left or right, or yes and no, black and white, right? They still exist within us as complex beings today. Even as like highly complex organisms, all we really have to focus on is, do I do more of this or less of this? Do I move towards this or move away from this? Right? And that's the basics of everything. Now, yeah, there's going to be some of you out there are going to say that, okay, that's easy to say, but then how do I move away from something like a porn addiction or a heroin addiction or a weed addiction, right? Like, there's going to be people out there who are going to say, well, okay, yeah, knowing the right thing to do is, for a lot of people, like a big breakthrough. When they realize, oh, this isn't good for me, well, why am I doing it? For a lot of people, that's enough. But then for a lot of people as well, they will know the right thing to do, but it will still be hard to do it, right? Or it'll be hard to stop doing the things that are not good for you. Well, I have never believed that you should be like resolving things overnight. Just improve your situation very little by little, week by week. Measure your progress in weeks, not days. Look at yourself last week and look at yourself today and say, well, have I improved my life since last week? Have I done things that have improved my health, my work and my income, my relationships, my hobbies, my passions, my car? So there's so many aspects of our life, and lay them out in front of you. What are the most important things? It could be your house, it could be your job, your income, it could be your relationships with your friends, relationships with your family, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, right? Your pets. There's so many different things that are important to all of us in different ways. And then every week, try to make improvements, right? That's what we're here for. We're here to improve. We're here to constantly be growing and getting better. There's no reason to have this belief that a lot of people do, that over time things just kind of deteriorate. This is just a matter of belief and perspective. I believe completely differently. I believe that we get better with age. We should be getting better with age. And even physically, even by the day that I leave this planet, I want my body to be at its most flexible. I want all my muscles to be free of knots and tension. I want my blood vessels, my muscles, everything to be flowing in a healthiest way possible. And these are all doable for all of us. There's lots of people in their 80s who are inspiring and very healthy. It's just all about how are you taking care of yourself, right? And it's not just your body, your mind is so powerful, and we can all start at any moment in our life. It only takes a couple of months, of hard work. If you've left it longer, yes, you could be faced with harder work than someone who hasn't left things, but there's always hope for all of us. For all of us, it's just like, are you going to wake up and make the little changes? And I believe, I've said this 1,000 times as well. Like, the way I like to do things is sort of like more chilled, more lazy, you could even say, right? I'm not going to start doing 100 push-ups a day if I haven't been doing any push-ups. No. I recently started back up doing push-ups because I used to do push-ups with my elbows flared out. I used to do like 100 push-ups in one shot. That was, sort of my measure. But I recently, when I say recently, I mean in the last 6 months, started doing push-ups the correct way, which is, elbows in. And it's a lot harder to do that. So I had to basically start from scratch. And I could only do 10 push-ups, correctly, like full extension, 10, right? So I did 10 because your body just needs to relearn everything. I did 10 for maybe about 2 or 3 days. Then I did 20 the following week. Then the following week, which is 7 days, imagine 7 days of just doing 20 push-ups. The following week I went up to about 40, and now I'm at about 80, 90, right? So you just build things up. There's no rush, but just start. Start with 1 push-up a day. Just get your ass on the floor. That itself is a chore. Get your ass on the floor. Do 1 or 2 push-ups. Well, the mistake that people do is that they haven't been, and push-ups is just a metaphor. It's just an example that you can apply to anything that is good for you that is just difficult, right? But the key is that understanding that, see, this mistake that people make is that they will have just going from 0, and then they'll try to do 50 push-ups. And then they'll never do the push-ups again, because who wants to go from doing no push-ups to, yes, okay, maybe I could have done 50 if I tried, but why should I do that? It's going to hurt me. It's going to create such a stressful experience that I'm never going to want to do that again. So it's better to just ease your way into it. Just right now, do 5 push-ups after this video, or do 2 push-ups, or do a 60-second meditation, you know, where you close your eyes and just focus on your in-breath and your out-breath for 60 seconds. You know, put your timer on your phone. So start small and then it adds up. It's like the difference between a slow roast as opposed to fast food, right? We all know that if you cook something slowly and its juices over time with herbs, it's just so delicious. Whereas fast food might be easy and quick and salty and stimulating, but it's just not as good, right? Alright, so I hope this video helps, and sending everybody out there all the very best as always, and thanks to all the you know, contact, the messages, the comments, the likes, and everybody subscribing and joining and sharing, and you know, everybody that I work with, all my clients, my private clients who I've been coaching and working with, you know, just sending everybody out there all the very best. Life is amazing, and I said all those things earlier, like the weed, sex, the food, the ice cream. That's all amazing. That's all a beautiful part of life. So we want to cherish those things, and we want to save them. We don't want to ruin them by, you know, overdoing those things. We want to keep them special. And work is important, because when we work hard, you know, when we do things that, you know, like whatever it is, your 9 to 5, or waking up, going to work, or going to the gym and putting in that effort, that's what makes the ice cream even more amazing. That's what makes even a glass of cold water amazing, right? So doing that hard work makes the fun things even more fun. And that's what we're here for. We're here to maximize our fun, right? So in order to maximize our fun and to get the most pleasure out of this experience, which is what this channel is all about. It's about getting the most maximum amount of pleasure out of this entire experience. And in order to do that, hard work is a very important part of it. And I don't think it should scare anybody. Like, just ease your way into that hard work. Just do a little bit every day until that becomes comfortable for you and easy. And then when that's easy and comfortable, then do a little bit more until that's easy and comfortable, and then that's it. And let time do everything else. So sending everybody out there all the very best, and adios for now. Bye.